Just when you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss, kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it, we leaving. Yeah, we achieving, can't be beaten. Say it loud, say it proud from the top of my lungs. Hometown, sacred ground, you ain't trying with us. Around this time, you really can't deny. You can't run, you can't hide when the Patriot comes.
All right. Welcome to the Patriots Friday Night Lights podcast, brought to you by the Boston Sports Entertainment Network. I'm Brendan. I'm here with Dog Nation. How we doing?
How's it going? How's it going?
Doing good. Okay. It was a entertaining game, at least. We got little highlights from Drake May, and that was kind of it for the most part.
Yeah, sorry. I was paying attention. So, yeah, it was definitely a good game. Like, obviously, we see Drake May can play. I actually went earlier and I was looking at, I don't know if you ever watched Chase Daniels when he breaks down the quarterback film on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was, I like to study football schemes and everything. Because I hear what everybody's saying about the Patriots scheme. Like, I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of the Boston media about Alex Van Pelt's scheme being a little outdated. It's very, 1960-ish. And I did see a lot of the problem that Chase Daniels was pointing out. And you can see from the film, it's a spacing thing as well. You know what I mean? Like where guys just aren't getting enough space in between their routes or whatever the concept is. And it's forcing more defenders into a small area for Drake May to try to throw this ball into.
Right.
Luckily for him, when he doesn't see it there, he bails out of it. But it also led to 2 bad interceptions. That's why, I was a little upset at the trade deadline that as far as they didn't bring anybody in, it's just serviceable because I want to see him at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. Because the sacks is like, yeah, we see these highlight plays, but we also – how many sacks did Tennessee get on us?
I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, and what we gave up about 8 the game before, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8.
Right.
So it's like, that part of it, at least, like, just bring somebody in there that at least can hold up.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Robinson from the Jags. I don't know how we couldn't have pulled that off. That would have been perfect. I mean,
I feel like with us, we always miss the good bargain sales because it's like even with the Jerry Jeudy thing, they've been flirting with that for years, and then to see the Cleveland Browns get him for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, these are all layups. I don't know why we're missing out.
Like seriously, you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of. Even if they wanted to take a flyer on another corner, I would have been okay with that because from what I'm hearing, Emmanuel Forbes, I'm pretty sure the price probably wouldn't have been too steep for the Patriots because he is a former 1st-round pick from the Washington Commanders. Problem is he's very frail. I don't know how that would look like considering, you got a Gonzalez where Gonzalez is a bigger corner. Forbes, he's tall, but, if you can get him to play like more of the off-ball, like Z type of wide receiver or something like that, could work out. I don't know. It's just things that I felt like they could have got more upside for small, like bargain prices versus, giving away Josh Uche for a 6 next year. So that's just almost like
2 years from now.
You just cleared the books.
Yeah. Like I get being a low draft pick for Uche just because the last couple of years hasn't been anything too crazy. But 2 years out, I feel like we could have at least gone it for next year.
Right. Or
especially with the Chiefs, right? I mean, their draft picks, whatever we get from them, is nothing.
correct.
They're so deep into the draft, right? It doesn't even matter what it is. It might as well be a 7th-round pick.
I feel like there's a book I actually want to send to you too. So we're gonna talk later. I think you said you read it. Did you read It's Better to Be Feared?
No, you were telling me about it last time.
Oh
Though.
man, you gotta read it. But I think the problem now with the team is that the same problem, like it's just showing over and over with time, and now it's like people get down on Bill. Bill didn't lose his coaching step. Okay, we can get on him for the front office of how it looked, or draft picks. There's some blame there deserved, but I'm not seeing nothing different from the guys that you kept behind that clearly worked for him. That I guess Belichick had the final say so, but these were guys that, what I mean, had a lot to do with bringing draft picks in. And from what I understand, Matt Grove ran 2 drafts. One of the drafts was the draft that, Mac Jones was taken, which I thought was a pretty decent draft. But, looking back on it and me reading on it, they said Bill wasn't exactly, banging the table for Mac. He felt like he was serviceable. He could possibly get something done with him, but he wasn't exactly too thrilled. From what I understand, they had more of their eyes on Zaven Collins at that time, the outside linebacker, Arizona.
Yeah,
and he would have been comfortable with taking Davis Mills in the later round.
Yeah, I remember Davis Mills floating around.
Yeah. So how that would have worked out, I don't know, because clearly we see quarterbacks get put in pretty good situations. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and
we'll see.
We'll
see Mac on Sunday, right? And maybe for the rest of the year if Trevor gets that shoulder surgery.
Yeah, possibly, but I don't understand. I mean, with all due respect, Mac Jones, like they're already in the middle of a losing season, so it's almost like
that's what they might as well just play him. Like they're not playing for anything at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like Mac Jones ain't really gonna. I don't think he's gonna come in. I actually think the offense is gonna shrink just because of Mac's arm talent.
Especially where Brian Thomas is kind of like their main guy, and he's more 20-yard plus.
Yeah, with Mac Jones coming into this game, I don't know if you play fantasy football. I don't, but if I was a betting man, which actually I just got into it actually, so DraftKings. Okay. So I'm looking at Travis Etienne on Sunday.
I'm Evan Ingram. Tight ends, right? I mean, Mac was always solid with Hunter Henry.
Right.
They're gonna play just dump it off to Evan Ingram.
Right. But on to the future. Sorry for that, guy. But on to the future.
Well, with our personnel department, I mean, I feel like they're gonna get another year, kind of all of them, just because Drake May. It seems like they've hit on him. Right. We were just talking about. I mean, Drake May has been. He's been awesome. He's been so good. And I think just the fact that he's looking like the guy, they're getting another year. It doesn't matter how bad the rest of the roster is. They're gonna keep everyone. I think he was just such an integral piece to what they were looking for this year. I think they're just gonna keep it going.
I feel like, but realistically looking at it, what would you have done in that situation? You had the number 3 pick. The other 2 quarterbacks had already come in off the board. I feel like that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because realistically, in my opinion, and I'm not only saying this because he's on the Patriots, I've been saying this, I think he's the best one of them all. But he came into the worst situation. Caleb, they built up the team for him like he was a 10-year pro. And from one thing that I keep telling people with quarterbacks of Caleb's stature, he's a special talent, but he tries to win the game by ad-libbing. Same problem with Anthony Richardson down in Indianapolis, meaning every play you can't get off script. You know how you got to build up to it, get your run game involved if you're looking to get a play action somewhere in the middle of the field, or you know what I mean. Smart
Right.
play call and the smart play. Caleb wants to break the pocket and just think he's going to spray the ball
Yeah.
all over the
You
line.
need the play to at least develop, because then that's going to open up the defense. Then you scramble.
Yeah,
Right. Then the defense is already in a weird
Correct.
position, and everyone can just follow with it.
correct.
With Drake being in the worst position, there was a stat that I saw, or it was like two charts. One was how good a quarterback is on like a bad team, like how much he influences the offense, and then another one, how much the offense influences the quarterback.
Right.
And he's on completely different ends.
Completely.
He's like by far the best quarterback on a bad team, and then we've had the worst team for a good quarterback. It's crazy.
And that's what you can hope for, and that's why I'm saying there's no bias involved. Like literally, from the standpoint of what everybody else says and everything, for what we see, yes, he has the least amount to deal with, and you know what I mean. The other two came in with proven number one wide receivers, Caleb with Keenan Allen, not to mention DJ Moore, and then they drafted Romo Dunze.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got Terry McLaurin down there. And not taking nothing away from Jaden Daniels, because he is very good. But I'm saying he already has that number one receiver. But then, you know, you bring Drake May in, and it's like it's hole at the hole in the roster. But he somehow does elevate it to the point that it is watchable. But it does leave you wanting more. Like, damn, if we had this guy, if we had a playmaker. I was even like thinking, the Seattle Seahawks, you know, because realistically, it's like, how long do they want to hold on to DK Metcalf to?
Right. Yeah.
What exactly? Geno Smith, like, I feel like that right there is already not taking nothing away from him, but you already seen where his limitation is at.
His foot's already halfway out, right? I mean,
it's just like.
It's not going to last forever. This
far into the playoffs or
right.
somehow, because it's like, yeah, last year you guys were a pretty decent team. Now Arizona has looked like they'd returned to being somebody. San Francisco, we don't know if they're all the way dropping down. You know, the Rams, you know, not getting into too much in their division, but, you know, just realistically seeing how all these things is playing out. But relative to Drake May, like I said, he has the least amount to deal with from a lot of quarterback standpoints, because I can probably go down a lot of teams' rosters and pick out that, oh, they have a pretty decent or sufficient number one. Drake May, he doesn't have that. And
yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. It's like this first round pick.
Yeah, I think that's been influencing all the turnovers, right? He's kind of trying to do everything himself, right? He's just kind of throwing it anywhere and hoping that someone's around there. Right? He's just doing too much, and I think that's why I'm kind of surprised we didn't try to do, or I shouldn't say try, but we didn't do anything in free agency, because we can't have this quarterback trying to do everything, and it's clearly not succeeding to its fullest, right? I mean, there's at least 5 drops every single game. I mean, we're averaging like 3 sacks a game. Like, we can't. That's not sustainable, especially with a rookie. I'm surprised we didn't do anything. I know we just signed a player, the Ngakoue. I mean, that was that's like the only thing we've done, and that
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Like, it'll help, but
yeah, because it'll just help from the standpoint of, like I said, like, even all right, we understand things are what they are, but keep your chin up. You know what I mean? And at least give people a reason to want to root for you, because outside of, like I said, if you listen to the media, everybody else hypes these other quarterbacks up, but they won't dare step near Drake May's name, not as much. You want to know why? Because we don't get much recognition outside of the Tom Brady era, anything like that. So it's like we got to kind of prove ourselves again, because it's like, if you look at a lot of players that are in the league, some of them are a little overhyped, where you can look at a player that might be on the Patriots that's the team not overall. Like, we can even look at the argument between Gonzalez and Sauce. Everybody just thinks Sauce is But then you see the ball production between him and Gonzalez. It's like,
Yeah, it's light years. I mean,
so it's like,
yeah,
but you got, you know what I mean? These are the names that they're not speaking on. Or they say, well, none of these draft picks hit. Realistically, our first round draft picks, Drake May's a hit, Christian Gonzalez a hit. Those are the last two drafts.
Mhm.
Cole Strange was looking like a hit because, like I said, he was being ranked within the top 10 guards in the league before his injury. So
Yeah, he should
that's
be back
significant.
soon. We'll
Cole
see.
Strange was looking like it was starting to be a hit.
Yeah,
2021, Mac Jones, no, but Christian Barmore came out of the second round. We also got Keon White out of the second round. So as of recent, it's looking like Taekwondo. We just can't get a receiver. So realistically, we can say that that's Bill, but it's looking like, hold up, that trend is still continuing right now.
yeah,
Because, like I said, Jalen Polk still got a long career, but for everybody to be posting these stats, he's last in everything. Like how? Like why does this keep happening to us? Why?
yeah. I don't know who's evaluating receivers for us, but I mean, because it also sucks because like we pass up on so many before that are like
George
really
Pickens.
solid. So it's not like we're drafting, 5th overall and it was just not working. Like we're passing up on so many people. There's so many after. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't know what it is.
what I'm saying. So it's like kind of somewhat in a way, I feel like Drake May exposes a lot of things too. That could have been possibly a reason because, like I said, in my opinion, the moment Drake May touched that field, that's when Alex Van Pelt clock started.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the offense is
Yeah.
totally different with him in it.
So it's like because they're gonna look at it like this. You got some people out there banging the fence saying, "Well, he doesn't look no different from what we had already saw." So not to say that he looked bad, but he is a baller. But it's like, can you credit the coaching staff for that, or it's just Drake May is just that good to overcome certain
Yeah. And that's when you
issues
start.
on the roster?
That's when you start looking at the offensive line, the receivers, right? Because Drake May is the only one who seems to be elevating this offense because everything else has stayed the same. And like you see it, the penalties,
And the play
sacks,
calling is
drop
terrible.
and the play calling it hasn't changed much. But then, right,
Oh.
Drake just makes these crazy throws, and sometimes it works, but they're always on a dime. And it's just if the receiver can freaking catch the damn thing.
But that's why I'm saying now that right there, why is it that all right, you go into overtime with that? First off, you should have went for two. But that's one
I
thing in
agree.
itself. And then you
Yeah.
get into overtime. Okay, you all but let them walk you down, and then they get the 3 points. Why did you come out and chase those 3 points with two big plays that we weren't able to get all game?
Right. Yeah.
Why
I mean,
not build the drive? We could have. So it's like, yeah, Drake May, he shouldn't have threw that ball there. You could say that's a rookie mistake. There was
Yeah.
a lot of other things that happened on that play as well, but it's also like they said. I forget who said it, but they said they went back and looked at every route. None of those routes that were ran were under 15 yards. Why?
right. We had so much time. I mean,
Like,
like
why?
we did like we do 2-minute drills like all the time, and I feel like we're usually able to kind of get it moving. I mean, we usually get stalled, but I feel like the play calls once we're moving a little bit quicker seem to be better, and then in overtime we just completely botch it. I mean, I think we should have taken advantage because our defense, it looked like they couldn't stop them, and then we lucked out with the fumbled snap to make them kick the field goal. I feel like we should have just like played so smart after that because I think that was just such a godsend, right? I mean, it did not look like we were going to have a chance to get the ball back.
Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. I gotta turn my air conditioner off. I am freezing. One
Yeah.
second.
But yeah, Drake May, like you said, yeah, definitely exposing things, which I think, I mean, it can help in a way, right, for the offseason, but right now it doesn't look good for the personnel department just as a whole, right, showing all these mistakes that we've clearly made. Still no Javon Baker. I don't want to say anything about him yet. like he's just not on the field. Like why? Like he's got to go out there. We got to give him some sort of shot because there's no way he's be worse than everyone else.
Honestly, I feel like there's something personal between him and Alex Van Pelt
Which is
because
ridiculous.
because
Pelt is not on that level. He shouldn't be
yeah,
doing that stuff.
because and that's what I'm saying. But this is the Patriots' problem. You guys, this is what they brought in. But my whole thing is this: you can't tell me that he's literally playing that bad where he can't get on the field. You're already 2-7. I don't want to hear nothing.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing.
100%.
Everybody should, like you said, everybody's being evaluated, but you still continue to somehow sneak Jalen Polk out there, and
Yeah, no one's being evaluated. Like clearly, if you're telling me Jalen Polk can still go out there every freaking snap and drop every ball, and then Baker has to, fair catch a ball in the end zone the whole game.
I think it's Van Pelt, and honestly, in Jalen Polk's defense, he is a good player. I think they're playing him out of position because here's the problem. For Jalen Polk is more of the Jacoby Myers type. You
were saying that.
Needed in the slot. He's not a burner. He's not going to be a burner. Yeah, he catches good deep balls, but Jalen Polk needs to be in the slot where he can operate over the middle, and you know what I mean. But the problem is that's Pop Douglas's spot. So for you to move him in, Pop Douglas will have to come off the field because you can't play him at the X because any corner puts hands on Pop Douglas is going to get jammed all the way up the field. He's only 5'4", 170.
Yeah.
You try him at the Z, but even still, if he gets touched or, you know what I mean, out there on the outside, there's not as much room to work with. And plus, he's going to be more so probably play to the backside of the formation. So with a smaller receiver like that, you kind of know where he's going to be at more often than not.
Yeah, and I wonder if we need to go to more of a spread offense, right? Get more receivers out there. Our running game has been averaging less than 2 yards a carry the past 3 games, right? They'll let Javon get out there, move Polk inside with DeMario, and then have Booty on the other. Right? I mean, Drake May, every time he throws the ball, that's the only time our offense can move. I don't know if we just need to kind of spread everything out, get more receivers out there.
And that exactly what it may be, but it's like Van Pelt. Do you know how to run concepts when offense is spread out? Because like I said, me seeing the film and constantly that's not the first video I watched of it because like I said, I'm the type of person when I say I love football, it's in my DNA. I sit down, I study it, I can tell you exactly what the West Coast offense is, how it came about. You know what I mean? We can really sit down and have some conversations, and it's just spacing is an issue because you're asking a rookie quarterback who realistically in college they throwing more wide open windows than that, but you're not giving him no spacing. So it's I remember the one route it had I think Kendrick Bourne ran more of an over and out, and I think Hunter Henry ran more of an up and out into the flat. They were so close together that it was how is he supposed to read that high to low? Because it's at any given point, anybody can drive down or move back up within there. Not to mention they're trying to do this, and you're running this on the play side where it's 4 defenders over there. So it's a 4 it's a 4-on-2 mismatch.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. It's when you see the all 22, you know what I mean? It's you start to see it hold up. This is schematically, this is what's not making sense. You know what I mean? So it's we rag down on the talent, but all right, if the talent was already subpar, then why are they expected to overcome bad play calling? You understand what I'm saying? Because these guys aren't what you consider to be superstars. You know what I mean? Considering most people, but like I said, can we at least give some onus to maybe they aren't exactly being guided into the best situation as well? Because clearly everybody had a problem with every offensive coordinator that then came in after Josh McDaniels. All right, Matt Patricia, that for what, in his moments it didn't work out because he was very predictable. But like I said, I think physically he did get the most out of Mac Jones because he
had the right scheme.
Yeah,
And like the coaches always preaching like, oh, we'll work the scheme around the players, but we try to snap under the center, give it to the running back when we have no offensive line.
yeah.
And then like the Drake May's our best player on offense, and we've been throwing it more, but like it's not his style. Like coming out of college, he had the spread offense. He was taking his shot. Now he's a little bit more under center. I feel like he's trying to conform the offense to his scheme, and like you said with Jalen Polk, right? That clearly doesn't work. That's not the type of player he is. And
Right.
we need to see them start playing towards the players, not just what's on his play sheet that he thought of like 3 years ago, and like is now trying to use it today. Like it's not working clearly.
Yeah, because and that's what I'm saying. It's like the Patriots, like, what exactly are you looking for in your scheme? Are you looking for guys that can beat man coverage and separate, or are we just going to keep getting these big 6'2", 200+ pound wide receivers that aren't exactly fast? They're more of like possession type of wide receivers. In a tight confined space, can make some contested catches here and there. Like,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The Devontae Parkers, the Juju Smith-Schusters, you know what I mean? Where's that wide receiver that you go in the draft and look at and like, all right, well, we're going to get this guy because we know he can beat man coverage. Like I said, they had that this year in the draft. I do feel like A.D. Mitchell probably would have been a better choice than Jalen Pope.
We're just searching for DK Metcalf. That's all we're trying to do, and we just can't do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but obviously DK Metcalf is right there. But we took a N'Keal Harry, like literally DK Metcalf.
And
We took him with the
AJ Brown
35th pick. Him and AJ Brown went in the second round, and then Terry McLaurin went in like the third, and then what? Amon-Ra St. Brown, did he come 2 years later, or did he go in that draft too?
I think he was a year later. I think.
They traded up. We traded up ahead of the Steelers to take Tyquan Thornton when George Pickens was literally right there. That's what I thought they were going to take. And they literally traded ahead of the Steelers and traded up and took Tyquan Thornton. I was listening. I used to listen to some of the Steelers podcasts, so I knew the Steelers had an infatuation with Pickens because Mike Tomlin was showing up at all the pro days. He was spending a lot of time down there. So I'm thinking when New England made that trade up, I jumped. I'm like, yes, they about to get.
Yeah.
And when they said the name, I'm like, who is that? And then I'm like, oh, that was the fast wide receiver in the draft. Then I looked at it, I'm like, I don't think it's going to work. And you want to know why? Because he's a vertical threat. And I knew the offense didn't present that vertical challenge because of the arm deficiencies of Mac Jones. So it was always going to be like, I just felt like they're just trying to do a lot of things that's not mashing right now.
And do you think they try to go for another vertical like Tyquan, just with Drake May having a cannon of an arm? And do you think they're just hit the reset button again and shoot for another one?
And I hate that this is the problem because you double dipped on receiver last year, and now you may have to bypass the offensive lineman to take another receiver in the first round. They need to take the safe pick and honestly just pick T-Mac from Arizona. Honestly, if I was them, I would hope that I'm in a position to trade back twice. Where, I could trade down from 1 to 3. I want your first round pick for next year too. And then it's like, okay, I'm still in the quarterback range. Teams want to trade up for a quarterback. Hey, New England, okay, I can trade back again and still get the guy I want and get their first round pick as well. But I just don't know if we got the front office that knows how to make them type of moves because they seem like they don't know how to negotiate nothing. Like 100, like next year we're going into free agency with $130 million in salary cap. What are we just sitting there looking at it? Like that's what I'm saying. Like everybody's like, oh, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? First it was we're gonna burn some cash, and then it's you know what I mean. They saying they're gonna make some moves at the trade deadline or whatever the case may be. They're looking at, and none of this stuff ever happens. So
I'm nervous. Don't do anything.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, regardless of what anybody's telling me, yeah, we should focus on the draft, but at the same time, be be serious. This is a game where people do get hurt, and like I said, you want to put Drake May in the best possible position you
Mhm.
can. Not that, hey, he's a big kid, he could take these hits, and then to come out to the media and say, oh well, yeah, he just came out of concussion protocol, so we're not really concerned with design runs. What? Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
crazy. Yeah,
Like,
to give them credit, right, with the last offseason, no one wanted to come to New England. This offseason, with Drake May, right, if he continues to play the way he plays, it should be easier for them to draw people in. Will they still? I don't know, but it will be an easier situation. There should be players that want to come in and play with Drake, which hopefully leads to something, right? We have the money and now we have some sort of influence with Drake. But like you said, do we even trust off the front office to be able to just get over that hump and convince them fully to come play for us?
that's what I'm saying, being cheap. So that's why, like, excuse me for like, oh, you need to like trusting them for what? Because one of my most favorite people in the organization, Bill. Like I said, I love Bill to death. Everybody acts like, when I gotta stop saying everybody, but some people act like, what I mean, as if he ain't mean nothing here, or all right, he's human, he made some mistakes out the door, but guess what? Why? What makes you trust these other people? Because it's like it seemed more personal that they got Bill out the door rather than he couldn't coach and he couldn't do nothing no more. Because, like I said, you still kept a bunch of people around that was working for him, that was making these mistakes with him. You understand what I'm saying? That scout
Yeah,
players with him, and you elevated them into bigger roles, and
yeah,
now that team looks worse. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there while the roster looks like this. Elliot Wolf, like, you got egg on your face too. Matt Rowe, you got egg on your face too. Robert Kraft, you as well.
yeah. And the only move they made was get rid of Bill. Everyone else, they kept them.
That's
Right? I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
it was clearly pointed at Bill, and
Yeah,
Bill gets blame.
and now, and like I said, everybody, I gotta stop saying that. People, the Matt Patricia thing and all that. Matt Patricia wasn't Ramondre Stevenson fumbling on the 3-yard line when they could have beat Cincinnati. Matt Patricia didn't tell Jacoby Myers to throw the ball to his new team that he was going to sign with in the offseason anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In a game where we could have possibly just went to overtime. Well, we were going to go to overtime. Because realistically, any football player in their right mind, what was Jacoby Myers throwing the ball 30 yards behind the line to Mac Jones for? It wasn't like Mac Jones can throw the ball forward again. We all know he can't run. So
Right.
Jacoby,
It's like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how people didn't really see how calculated that was. May God be my witness. I said it when it happened. I said he's going to be a Raider next year. So it's like, yeah, we went 8-9 that season. Those are two games that the Patriots could have won, and being at 10-7, guess what? They could have made it to the playoffs. That would have been back-to-back 10-7 seasons with Mac Jones. But these are the things that get ignored when people come to tear down, what I mean, certain coaches or things like that. And it's like, nah,
yeah,
like there's still people there that's honestly, in my opinion, still making the same mistakes
right. That's why
continually.
we're 2-7, right? And we're like we were talking about earlier, where Drake May is kind of exposing things, right? We're 2-7, and we still
Mhm.
see the same problems: no receivers, bad offensive line, and now it's might even be worse just with the play calling, right? At least we had that for a little bit. It just, I mean, we'll see how it keeps going, right? We have the game against the Bears. I don't know how well that's going to go. Their defense is pretty good, but
Is it?
they were for a bit. They were top 10, but the team's given up, and at least we can at least say that our team hasn't given up yet. So there's a silver lining, right? The Bears have definitely given up. I don't know if you saw the DJ Moore walking off the field mid play. But that was just,
Yeah.
especially with all the context of the other stuff he's done. I mean, that was the most blatant I've given up I've seen in a long time from a football
So
team.
what do you think caused that? Because I got my opinion, but I want to hear what yours is first.
Like why he did it?
Or like, why do you feel like the team is giving up? Do you feel like it's because of the coach? Do you feel like they disbelieve in who they got there at quarterback?
Yeah, it's got to be the coach. I mean, every time he talks in the media, he doesn't really. He just kind of gives like the same, like bland answer of a coach, like, "Oh, we got to be better. Oh, it's on me. Oh, I'm taking responsibility." And DJ Moore, he came in saying that he wants Justin Fields. The whole team was pretty much backing Justin Fields, and then they got rid of him. They got Caleb. I mean, we were talking earlier. We think Drake May is the better out of the three. I think Caleb's the worst out of the three.
Mm-hmm.
He's been super inconsistent. I mean, he's had multiple games under 200 yards, under 150 yards, and he was put in the best situation.
And this is exactly what I'm getting at. You see a lot of people bypass that. And you want to know one thing I did hear? I forgot who said it on TV, but they made a point. When we hear these things about certain players coming into the year, like, yeah, ooh, and then you come into the draft, you don't see them go as high, or maybe they go higher or lower. That's because that's the media piping them up. The coaches and stuff like that, they don't got time to really dissect those players' tape until the end of the year, because that's when that's their process to do so. They might look at a few things throughout the year, but then now when it's in the off season, now they can sit on it, watch the film, write things down, listen in on their scouts, take trips, go down and see certain things, and you know what I mean. So with Caleb, accuracy has always been a problem. Like now I'm seeing they got it up. I think it was Colin Cowherd. He was talking about how a lot of scouts left from his pro day, talking about how he missed a lot of deep balls and accuracy was an issue. But that's always been a problem for Caleb. And in my opinion, it's because of this. He's short. Usually with those shorter quarterbacks, if they don't get to the play on the play side, if they're standing in the pocket, it's extremely hard for them to get to the play backside to make whatever reads over there because they can't see over the line, which is the problem with Bryce Young. If you ever go look at his tape, watch how high the ball comes out sometimes.
I would say it's a lot of teardrops.
Just to get a 10-yard pass off because they're closed in on the pocket. So Caleb, for one, don't have an offensive line. So in two, which is a problem because now he sees that he doesn't have an offensive line. You got him in the same mindset that he was in USC. He has to add every play. And now that becomes a problem when now you brought in the personnel that you brought in. So you brought in DeAndre Swift. He likes the ball. DJ Moore, he likes the ball.
Keenan Allen
likes the ball, and I'm pretty sure Romo Dunze is looking like, well, Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. showing everything they're worth. I'm supposed to be the one picking the draft. So It could be that the team might not believe in Caleb as much, but they sit there and coddle him because that could cause a problem versus where you see the Patriots with Drake May, he didn't install belief.
Right.
But even though that they're losing games, he's an installed belief that he has that swagger that everybody's standing behind him. They're like, listen, we've been seeing him do this. Like, this is our guy. You know what I mean? They never really came to bat like that with Mac Jones. So you can kind of feel that there's a different feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the Bears, like as an organization, right, they're kind of a poverty franchise. I mean, they haven't won anything in so long. So coming into this offseason, right, getting all the personnel changes that they did and then getting Caleb, they're projected to go 10-7, right, playoff potential kind of team, right? That's something that they haven't experienced in a long time. And then now that I think they're right 4-4, 4-5, everything's collapsing. They're realizing that they may not be that team and they don't really know how to handle it. So everyone's kind of turning towards each other and turning towards Caleb and the coach. And it's kind of similar to what the Jets are, right? The Jets are, for the first time ever, Super Bowl contenders.
I'm surprised. Right? I'm surprised that the coach is even still. I'm surprised he even got this year to prove.
They've never fired a coach mid-season. Their entire.
I thought they were going to fire him in the offseason.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean they should have. Yeah, I don't know.
Who was the head coach there when they took Justin Fields?
Yeah, who was that? I don't remember. But they fired him right off the bat, and then they picked up Eberflus. But yeah, Eberflus shouldn't have been.
And that's what I'm saying. He's a defensive guy, so it's like.
Yeah, right. You just rejuvenated the whole offense. The whole offense is why you've been put into these conversations of playoffs, and yet you stuck with a defensive coach.
You want to know what I think is going to be like an extreme problem, and it's going to be a quick makeover? Belichick and Patricia is going to be back.
Cowboys.
Yep. And it's not going to be that hard to fix.
No, which scares the hell out of me because I can't stand it.
Because you didn't because being the type of mindset Belichick got anyway, you didn't give him a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, you think he's gonna say no to having Micah Parsons on his team?
Oh my lord!
You kidding me? He's gonna take that all freaking day, all day.
And if they manage to keep DeMarcus Lawrence too.
Oh, if they sign Belichick, everyone's staying. I don't think anyone's going to want to leave.
He's going to easily fix that secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's going to easily fix that. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, now, if Bill comes back, damn, you can't make this up. If Bill comes back and win a 6th ring for Dallas.
Would love it for Bill. Hate it as an NFL fan.
Yeah, I would hate it as an NFL fan too, but like I said, Bill, I think he deserves a chance to coach because, like I said, was everything perfect? No, but I don't like how people I don't like how people like talk about him or just like it's just like because he's just important here. As a lot of people, I can go down Super Bowl after Super Bowl. People are forgetting if Malcolm Butler, if they didn't make that call. Our storyline would have been that we won our first 3 Super Bowls and we lost the next 3.
Yeah.
Because that would have been 2 losses to the Giants in the Seattle. So, you know what I mean? Thank God to the defensive coaching staff and Bill for being prepared because literally they showed the Patriots practicing that same play, preparing for Seattle to run that play at the 1-yard line. And Malcolm Butler had gotten beaten on it multiple times in practice. That's what I'm saying. You got to thank God for Bill in situations like that, or even in the Atlanta Super Bowl. Atlanta came in that game averaging 33 points a game. Realistically, the Patriots defense held them to 21. Like I said, Brady's pick 6, but other than that, the Patriots defense and Dante Hightower script sack. You know what I mean? They made multiple plays.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one versus the Rams, you know what I mean? 13-3. That tells you everything. Brady, from what I understand, Tom Brady didn't even throw a touchdown pass there. So, you know, I'm grateful just for the team overall, but I feel like when people get to talking about things, they get too far in it being a player game, and you got to understand that man that was standing on the sideline. And even still, Michael Lombardi pointed it out. The Patriots lost 8 one-score games last year. Those one-score games probably was that one less playmaker or a Drake May-less Patriots, or you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Right. And I mean, we were just talking about the Bears. Do you think Bill could go to the Bears?
I wouldn't want that for him because he would be tasked with trying to tame a Bronco. You know what I mean? That's what Caleb is right now. Because it's like, as a coach, coaches might feel like, well, I don't really want to make him too robotic, but we got to go back to the basics with him. We need him to understand but when you got height limitations, that could be a problem. Because the reason why Russell Wilson succeeded so early in his career, they rolled him out and dropped him back like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That way he was able to get his eyes on it. So
Yeah, what did they do with Drew Brees? Right, Drew Brees was
yeah,
short. He's
exactly. And Drew
athletic like
Brees
Caleb.
got good length in the pocket, and because Drew Brees knew what his limitation was. That's why even that year with Michael Thomas, what he caught like 147 balls.
Yeah, NFL record.
Like 85% of them were slant passes. Like literally, they
Yeah.
had that slant pass down to a T. Like I'm talking about, it was just literally a up and in, and he was getting it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it was working.
you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just like with Caleb, like I wouldn't want Bill to go there and even try to begin to even
Thanks,
dig
Caleb.
up. Yeah, to dig up and even fix whatever mess is going there. That's what I said. I'm not hating on Caleb, but I honestly was never that high on him at a pro level. You know what I mean? Because it's like I said, I see the size limitations and I can see how he can make those throws in college and everything else, but this is the NFL. Not to mention, he got stuck in the fire of it looks like a division that they ain't playing over there. Detroit's a real deal.
Right, Vikings out of nowhere.
Minnesota.
I mean, we all knew what the Lions were going to be, and then the Packers.
That's what I'm saying. So Caleb, you basically then got crowned with taking this franchise that has realistically probably been one of the most irrelevant since arguably between them and the Lions, but the Lions are already on the up and up.
This is like the worst time for them to have Caleb Williams.
The worst time because all across the board, you look at those are young quarterbacks besides Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is just a quarterback through and through. Jared Goff can play quarterback. But outside of Jared Goff and maybe Baker Mayfield, and I might be missing somebody else, but typical pocket passers aren't really in the league like that no more. Like you got dudes that are just as efficient as Caleb. Maybe Caleb showed more at a college level, but Caleb versus a Jordan Love or JJ McCarthy was looking like he was pretty decent in the preseason. Hopefully we get to see that he plays at a high level and just measuring him against who was all taken in that first round. We haven't seen Penix yet, but he hasn't overachieved, but he hasn't underachieved neither. Bo Nix.
It's just funny because Caleb, team-wise, was put in the best position out of the three. But I think Drake has been put in the best position division-wise, right? It seems like it's just kind of the Bills now. The Jets, they're about to implode. Dolphins, I don't know what the hell. They're going to need a new coach and whole new defense and everything.
I don't think it's the coach's fault because the Dolphins can attribute what's going on to one thing. Tua was out, and the last couple of games they lost. Didn't they just lost back to back by field goals?
Yeah, with Tua. I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. Since Tua's been back, they've been scoring points. So I think he will be okay there. The Jets, they got a whole nother mess on their hand. I'm mad Cincinnati.
Hey, they're in the worst situation, I think, in the NFL, them and the Raiders. But I think the Jets are just years away from being able to recover from Aaron Rodgers.
Cincinnati are helping them, though. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all helping them kind of sneak up to where they could possibly get into 7. Because I think the Chargers are on the rise. They're like, the Chargers are going to be I think late.
Harbaugh's building a culture over there.
Yeah, because
it's good. I'm happy for Herbert because I think Herbert's a phenomenal talent. It's nice to see him finally get someone to coach for once.
I think, and it's crazy because I used to always watch Josh Allen. I'm like, man, I wish we had. I think we got one. With Drake, man. I think we got one.
And I know he's every single Sunday. That's all I look forward to. I want to say he's the guy, but with Mac, I thought his rookie year, I was like, we have someone, and then the next year, it was a disaster.
Mac,
nervous.
I was
so
never
better.
I was never really high on Mac.
I'm a Bama fan, so that I kind of went in with a bias.
Yeah, I was never high on him just off the simple fact that when everybody talks about his rookie year, I was like, correction, he had a good 7-game stretch in his rookie year because realistically, the first 4 was shaky. Then they went on that 7-game win streak, but over that time, the defense played well. They had a good they played some
Everything
good games.
clicked. Everything clicked at the same time.
And then what happened after that? We was only able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Buffalo Bills put the belt to us. We lost to the Colts,
Colts
and we
started.
lost to, who else did we lose? And the Dolphins, I think.
Yeah.
And then what happened? That was to win the division. Had we beaten the Dolphins, we would have won that division that year. We had Buffalo already. But we lost to the Dolphins. Then we had to go into the playoffs and face Buffalo. And that's when the bottom fell out the cup.
Yeah.
You feel me? Though I will say that there was a lot of people hurt that night that didn't even play. I think a couple of corners were down. I know Isaiah Wynn didn't play.
The season was over before the game started.
Yeah, they was definitely missing some guys, but to go, I don't even want to talk about that game. Like, I really don't.
Right? Yeah. Well, you were talking about DraftKings earlier. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the line here. I think I don't see. Let's see if it's the line's like 3.5. I can maybe see the Pats covering. Let's see. But I'm pretty sure they're like almost a touchdown spread. Yeah, it's 6 right now. Right, that kind of just shows how, right, even though the Bears have kind of completely given up, they're still 6-point favorites. I think that just kind of shows where the Pats are at.
Who's home? I'm sorry, I didn't even know who's home or not. Who's home?
The Bears. I'm pretty sure the Bears are home.
Honestly, I feel like the
Bears.
We're away. I feel like the Bears are exactly what realistically you would see them as. And I feel like the media is the one that hyped them up because the Hard Knocks and everything else. Hard Knocks seems to not work out for no team that gets hyped up. They be on Hard Knocks and they come into the season.
If the Patriots are ever on Hard Knocks, I'm not watching the season.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
It's going to be a disaster. I hate.
They're going to try to stick them in there. Life after Belichick.
I hate Hard Knocks. Jets. Lions did it, Browns did it, Bears did it. Right, these are all historically horrible franchises. I can't see my favorite team be in that conversation. I can't. It's gonna be the worst day ever seeing us be on the Hard Knocks.
Seriously, man, because it's like we got the Brady and Belichick years to hang our hats on. Because even if you look at the history of the Patriots before that, it's a little murky, man.
Yeah.
One thing I will give Kraft, the way he got a hold of the team. He Robert Kraft. I don't know if you noticed, but Robert Kraft, it took him 10 years to get the Patriots. Literally,
take it older.
The team was about to go bankrupt. The stadium was breaking down. Everything the league was about to take over. So here's what Kraft did. Since they weren't trying to let him buy the team, he became their landlord. He owned the stadium.
Yeah, this was on the Dynasty. That whole
he owned the stadium. He owned the parking lot. He owned the concession. So realistically, the Patriots were not making no money, but they had to pay Kraft to play in his facility.
Right. Yeah.
So eventually, obviously, he got his hands on the team. He probably used about 15,000 of his own. 15 million of his own money. The other 50-something million came from the bank. And, they gave him a hassle about that because they looked at the financial records of the Patriots. And, so he definitely deserves his flowers on that. But like I always tell people, he has to show me that he's comfortable on not balling on a budget. What I mean by that is, he enjoyed the best years balling on the budget because Tom Brady always took those pay cuts. And
Bill was the best. He was the best.
And he was a 6th-round draft pick, so he had already won 3 championships within
on a
that
rookie
time.
deal.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there was a lot where he didn't have to pay out. If you go back and look at what happened in 2021, where $176 million had to get paid out of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't exactly have that money underneath my pillow. He didn't like that because,
Yeah.
like I said, now that he had to come in with that much money to fix some draft problems with Bill, we already knew that was the problem right there. Because most people probably think, oh, well, they got a salary cap. The owner has to have any guaranteed money on those contracts, what's guaranteed and all that. The owner has to have that in escrow. That's why some teams, they're like, oh, wait, how do they got money like that? How are they getting around the salary cap? Oh, they're just pushing more money onto the owner and less money onto the franchise. But the owner is looking for that player, like, okay, are these players that I'm putting my money in? Because now they're basically upfront just investing in the player itself rather than, franchise overall. There needs to be a return on that. Because then if there isn't a return on that, just lost out.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to pay Drake soon.
Exactly.
Him, Christian.
And that's why this can't continue. That they continue to keep looking like this because ticket sales could start going down. I know everybody like, oh, they're the Patriots people. Listen, they know a difference. What I mean?
With the Celtics being the best team in the NBA, right? Boston sports is kind of taking more attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? More people want to pay attention to the Celtics because they're winning.
It doesn't seem like some of them are even Patriots fans. Like, yo, the way they talk about the way they talk about the team and the players, and I'm just like, man, like it's like I said, it seems like they were more Brady fans than they were like Patriots fans. Like
and they're going to come back around if the Patriots start winning again. They're just going to where winning is, and that's just Boston media, right? I mean,
I just want to see. I want to see what Colin Cowherd had to say because he was quick to come out in the summer. Anything that has to do with the Patriots negative wise, he's so quick to jump on.
Dan Orlovsky, he was the first one to be like, "Do not start Drake May. It's gonna be a complete disaster." And then since Drake May started, he hasn't said a single word. I think he just said something yesterday.
Because he has to run the tape. Or Colin was like, "Yeah, such and such was there and said it looks like the ghost of Mac Jones." I'm like,
yeah, what a fucking coward.
I'm like, yo, since then, hasn't said a word.
Yep. Pathetic. Absolutely.
Hasn't said a word. When they want to talk about the Patriots and Bears, they literally would just bypass anything that had to do with the Patriots. They'd go to talking about what's going on with Caleb and the problem with this and the problem with that. So I guarantee you, if the Patriots win, it's not going to be that they realistically look at it like, oh, well, the 2 quarterbacks that went after him has realistically outplayed him when they played him. And Drake May is on this, even though he's on a losing team, he's on a trending upward trajectory. It's going to be that, oh, is it time for the Bears to fire their coach? Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it's all going to be on the Bears for sure.
Because then, what's the Bears record right now?
I think they're 4-4. There's something, I know they're right around 500.
Okay, so if they lose to the Patriots what, go 3-7? So you're going to you're going to be talking about a team that realistically is only one game ahead of the other one. But one of them you claim that literally has no talent at all. The other one is stacked with talent.
Yep.
You got a good corner over there. You got everything the Patriots have and don't have. Yeah.
And they're in a hard division.
And I guarantee you the conversation is going to be, oh, what did the Bears do wrong? Not that. And that's what I don't like. Just we're overall as a team, we're not exactly good right now. But everybody don't suck. There's people you need to give your flowers to. Because like I said, when there's certain players that are playing good on the Patriots, like you said, look at when Uche went to the Chiefs. Now they talk about him like he's this world beater. Where was all that when he was here? Everybody Judon, they had all these edge rushers ahead of Judon, and year in and year I'm looking at their stats versus Judon's. I'm like, how? Where? Why?
Mm. Yeah.
Guys like Gregory Rousseau's and all that. I'm like, what the? But then as soon as he goes to the Falcons, they hyped it up in the summer. Now it doesn't look as good as it did.
Yeah. No.
It didn't look as good as it did before he got here neither. He was a good player. Bill made him a great player. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's plenty of players. Christian Baltimore. Even when I play Madden, why the hell is he still a 78 on there? Oh, 8.5 sacks last year. That's not enough for you, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Players like Anthony Jennings.
Yeah.
Anthony Jennings is a great run stopper. If you watch him in the front, he's a great football player.
But I think he's top 5 in tackles at the line. I'm
He
pretty
usually
sure.
is, but they
Yeah.
don't talk about that. You
Right.
know what I mean? They don't talk about that, or they don't talk about how solid Jawan Bentley was. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Or they want to hype up. Everybody still talks about Derwin James. We haven't really seen a Derwin James sighting in years. Like, let's be real, he's still a good player, but then they don't talk about Kyle Duggar. What Kyle Duggar had? What, like, I think like 4 touchdowns in one season, but he still
Yeah.
ain't the Pro Bowl. Don't want to talk about that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's plenty of things that could be taken and spoken about good on this team. But like I said, nobody wants to give them their flowers. Or it takes for a Michael Lombardi to come out and then everybody like, oh, well, we was okay, yeah. We lost all our one-score games. Because now it looks a little different. How many games we won last year? 4?
Yeah. 4.
It looks a lot different when you say that you lost 8 one-score games. Because let's say if we were like the Vikings and we won all our one-score games, now you're talking about a 12. Now you're talking about a 12-5 season.
Right. Yeah. We were the opposite of the Vikings, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really like to play the what if game, but also the shaming and the putting some of these players down. And like I said, can we say that everybody want all pros and stuff like that? Even when Brady was here, how many of these players can you remember that the Patriots drafted that went on to be Pro Bowlers that was these high picks?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
So it's like, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like everybody wants to now, once Tom Brady leave, well, yeah, the roster is so depleted of talent. And yeah, because all these other teams weren't good for a long time. So they had a chance to pick at the top of the draft. The Patriots are always picking from anywhere from 25 and down.
25, right. Yeah. And down.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, yeah, so like we can, but just tell the whole story. You feel what I'm saying? Like I just don't like that how certain people gets tore down because now in this organization we're not like the Packers where we just have quarterbacks sitting in the waiting. That's good for them, but
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not our story. That's not
Yeah.
our story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll see on Sunday what the kind of story, how it unfolds.
Right.
If we win, it'll be most likely talking about how the Bears have completely lost in the season, and if we lose, it'll be, oh, Bears are back on track. So
Mhm.
we'll see it on Sunday. I'm excited. Should be a good game. I'm excited just with the Caleb versus Drake May story. It's always fun seeing top draft picks like that face against
Oh
each other.
yeah, for sure, because it's a validation point, and I know they have it in their heads too. Like one thing I just love about May, he doesn't seem like the moment's too big for him. He doesn't seem like he doesn't know what to do. Like I say, like he spray fires some throws, but I expect that from him. Like I said, I'm not gonna be like a lot of people because when we sit here and talk about these younger quarterbacks that come in, they expect so much so fast. Like, like what I mean? Like I understand Drake May's gonna throw some picks and what I mean? That's a part of him growing as a football player. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Part of him growing as a football player. I even see when they bring up the Anthony Richardson thing, how people like, well, damn, is he failing? I seen Lewis Reddick brought it up that over the course of a 10-game sample, not saying that he will be Josh Allen, but him and Josh Allen's stats over a 10-game stretch are almost identical. So that should go to show you that there is a growth point somewhere in there. But instead of always sitting these players down, sometimes you got to look at your coaching and your scheme. Because just like to say, oh, well, Drake May needs to sit a year, but everybody else is probably like, so what am I signing contracts for coming here? I'm putting my body on the line that maybe I can't even play football again. So you guys can coddle and string along another football, a 6'4", 230-pound football player that clearly when I see him out on the practice field, he can play. So
Right.
yeah, I'm saying let him experience that with his team. Let him experience those wins with his team. Let him experience the losses with the team, because clearly it looks like from a character standpoint, it's only going to make him better.
And he's got the character for it. I mean, every single day someone talks to the team, they are just so behind him, and like they just give him this insane praise, and that they all want to play for him
right now.
Kendrick Bourne just said he wants to play better for Drake May,
Right.
which is enormous. Like when Amendola said that he played Bill was his coach, but he played for Tom or something along the lines. But he was saying the same exact thing about Tom Brady. So it's really cool to see that about a team saying that about a rookie quarterback already, because I don't think they really said that about Mac. You know, they're behind him because they're his quarterback, but I feel like now they're like, yeah, the defense needs to play better for Drake May.
Because people, we all seen it. Like even that game versus the Colts, like multiple times last year, we had a chance to win the game, and Mac Jones threw an interception. And like I said, some of it could be because, you know, when people, oh my God, now I got my dog barking. But hey, Storm. Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to calm her down in a second.
Well, we kind of talked about most things, so we can kind of wrap it up just so you can get your dog. Excited about Sunday. Can't wait to watch it. I'm sure you and I will be tweeting at each other all weekend.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hey, keep me updated with any bets or anything.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right. It's always great talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now, we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility?
I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. Stupid thing.